Just before the video starts, I'd like to say it is sponsored by the Spartan Legion, as you can see on my t-shirt here, the Spartan Legion Gym. You can actually buy these t-shirts to support them. Go check them out on Facebook and Instagram. A friend of mine actually started this up, so I definitely recommend checking them out. So it has been a while since I've actually done a video on this channel, and I really didn't have time to do an anime review, like a proper one, like a script and that, but I had been watching anime in my free time. I've just been trying to get a job and, getting money sorted, stuff like that. So one thing I decided to check out was the first volume of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Considering that I've actually tried out the first three series, I should say, and I thought I would just try out the first volume of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal because I think, well, to my knowledge anyway, in my own opinion from the anime, it is probably the weakest, in my opinion, of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. So the manga itself is very similar to the anime. You have a young boy here by the name of Yuma, who basically isn't good at dueling at all, who has a pendant around his neck, and he's able to talk to this sort of now I haven't watched all the anime, but my impression is that he's an alien kind of spirit from a different dimension called Astral, who basically helps him through the duels, and he's connected to him through the key that he wears around his neck. Sounds very much like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, if I'm honest. But really, I actually think the character of Yuma I do find annoying, but it actually makes a lot more sense to have him as a really bad duelist. I guess the first time that they've actually portrayed the protagonist as a really bad duelist. If you look back at the previous series, Yugi's a great duelist. Jaden, Yusei, all of them were great duelists. And even in Arc V or Arc 5, you have Yuya, who, again, was a great duelist. Well, he was a little bit weak, but eventually he was a lot better. But with Yuma as a really bad duelist, and then you have Astro, who sort of acts like the pharaoh to Yuma's Yugi, it makes a bit more sense, because I always kind of felt that the pharaoh and Yugi were both very good at dueling. There was no really significance that Yugi was bad at it. When you first see Yugi play in the anime, in the Duel Monsters anime, I mean, he beats Joey fairly easily. There's no indication that he's a bad duelist. When Yugi's about to duel Kaiba, you have him immediately change straight away to the pharaoh. You don't show Yugi struggling in any form. So you're not really given any real indication that Yugi's a bad duelist. You're just kind of given the indication that the pharaoh is better. In this, on the other hand, you can tell very easily that Yuma is a bad duelist. He goes against his friend, who I can't remember the name for it all, neither in the English or Tetsu. That's his name. In the manga, he's called Tetsu. He loses to him 50 times. And that's a clear indication that he is not a very good duelist at all. And it makes sense to have Astral helping him for really the fact that Yuma sucks pretty much. And this is actually a very good volume if you're very new to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it teaches you the very basics in the manga. So the characters in this, you have Yuma, as I said, and Astral I've already talked about. You're introduced to two of Yuma's friends, but very briefly, who, again, I forget the name of, who don't really leave an impression, to be honest. You have the sort of girl character who's his friend. You have Tetsu, who's like the Joey kind of character, I guess. You have Shark, who's like the rival. He's just kind of a douche in this. You also have Flip. Well, he's called something else in this, but Flip is a lot easier to pronounce than his name in this. And yeah, the only real duels that happen in this are between Yuma and Shark, and Yuma and Flip, or whatever you want to call them. And those are the characters that were really shown. Uh, but the whole story is that Yuma has to help Astral here, and Astral basically has no memory whatsoever. But there's these number cards, and the number cards basically represent a piece of Astral's memory, and the more they collect, the more of Astral's memory will be retrieved. And it's an okay idea, I guess. Um, no, I'm actually looking forward to more of this series. Like, I kind of hope this is different than the anime, even though I haven't finished the anime at all. Um, I always felt the anime was a lot more childish than compared to the previous Yu-Gi-Oh series that came out before it. The cards that the duelists use in this are exactly the same as they are in the anime. In previous mangas, well, apart from the original, but in GX and in 5Ds, I'm pretty sure the duelists actually used different cards, and it was like the series was its own story. The way this is playing out is it seems to be the exact same story as the anime, and yeah, I'm kind of curious, how much of the anime is filler, or did the anime just adapt it differently? Also, uh, in this volume, there isn't really a lot in it. You're just getting two duels, and the first duel is pretty much just an introduction to Astral, while the other one is the last two chapters, or the last three chapters, but I'm pretty sure it's the last. Yeah, it's the last two chapters, and it's the one with Flip and Yuma, and it's not really a lot in it. And yeah, it's a very, it's kind of just introductory, really, and a very small introductory as well to Astral and Yuma, and that's pretty much it. And it kind of introduces people to the whole Duel Monsters game itself, because it teaches the basics, saying like, oh, you can't put a monster in attack mode, because it's weaker, and that's when the damage will be dealt. But if you put it in a defense mode, um, no damage will be dealt, and that sort of stuff. And it says the basics, like, if you play a trap card face down, you don't need to say it's a trap card. You can say it's a spell, and stuff like that. So it the volume itself feels like it's aimed very much towards younger people, just because of like the character's attitude, but also new people as well, which is good. But if you had younger people reading it, there's a bonus chapter. So there's really 7 chapters in this, and the bonus chapter is a basically an alternate beginning of the series, which, okay, the first 3 or so chapters of this volume introduced Astral and Yuma, and it is a little bit long and all that, because they're actually explaining the rules as well of the Duel Monsters game in it. Whereas in the last chapter, in this, the bonus chapter, it has this whole thing. It has a lot darker feel to it. You have Kaito, who is Kite in the anime, in the English dub, and you see him taking souls of duelists. You also have him challenging Yuma, and it's also an alternate introduction to Astro, which is, I actually feel, is a little bit better. But I think that it's a little bit clearer that they didn't want it to be they didn't want it to be too dark, unless it's sort of like a shadowing for what's to come later on in the manga. Maybe it was too soon for them to introduce Kaito. Who knows? Overall opinion of this is that I think it's okay, maybe. Like, it really isn't the strongest introduction uh, compared to the previous uh, first volumes I've read of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. And, you know, the artwork is really nice in it. Like, it's all really good. So, like, there's nothing really bad about the artwork. A couple of times I did feel it was a little bit weird. Like, there's a scene where uh, Yuma's sister is talking to the grandmother, and it feels like very dramatic, her sort of pose outside of the panels, when like she was just like standing normally on the stairs, and then suddenly she's like in a weird crooked angle just to make it dramatic. And there's a bit of mystery as well to Yuma not supposed to duel, apparently. um but other than that, it's an okay volume. I mean, you could check it out if you want, but to be honest, I'd recommend the other ones better. Like, I think GX actually does a better job than Zexal because it's not dark like the other two 5Ds in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's still a little bit light-hearted, but it has a lot more interesting characters, I think. That's pretty much all I have to say about this volume. I don't know if I will continue this series. I might pick up the second volume. Um, sorry, my throat's getting sore. I might pick up the second volume, but I don't see myself picking up anytime soon. Maybe if I'm in like a bookstore and it's on sale or something like that, I might go, oh, why not? But I'd rather actually just focus on like the other series, if I'm honest. I don't think I'll read Arc 5. I don't see myself reading it anytime soon. Because I watched the anime and I thought it was entertaining, but I don't know about the manga, if I'm honest. Um, yeah, so if you guys have read the manga of Zexal, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Please no spoilers because even though I said I may not pick it up, I may continue picking it up. I don't know. It really just depends on my mood. Also, if you have read the manga and watched the anime, tell me down below. Is it pretty much the same story? Is it different in any way? Without revealing any spoilers, of course. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe, stay up to date with my other videos that I'll have in the future. Again, I'm really sorry that this is really late. I was expecting it, like, this is a month after my last video. I expected to have maybe at least 5 more videos up between that time. But yeah, a lot of things, have been coming up, so it's hell. Also, check out the Spartan Legion, as I said before. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.